Sai Ram, thank you all so much for joining us today for Swami's 96th birthday celebrations. We'll be following the agenda as sent in the email, and just a gentle reminder to please be on mute throughout the session. We'll be starting off with 3 ohms.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Gananam Tvam Ganapatigum Havamahe Kavim Kavinam Upamashravastamam Jyeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspata Anashrinvannoti Visidha Sadhanam Prano Devi Saraswati Vaje Virvajinipati Dhinama Vitrayavatu Ganeshaya Namaha Saraswatyai Namaha Sri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.
Sai Ram, now we'll be having a SSSC presentation by Satya Murli, our education coordinator. Over to you, Sai Ram.
Hi Ram, everyone. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see it.
Hi Ram, everyone. Welcome to the presentation from the SSSC children for Swami's birthday. For this birthday of Swami, we compiled all the activities that we have been doing with the children so far. Learning the 5 human values from Swami, Satya, Dharma, Shanti, Prema, Ahimsa. We have been learning that these values represent like a puzzle piece, and the main puzzle that puts it all together is love, and love from Swami himself. Here is a compilation of all the life applications that the children have been working on.
Saira, my name is Bhavya. I'm learning the 5 human values, Satya, Dharma, Shanti, Prema, and Ahimsa. I'm trying to love God. Whenever I remember I say it quietly or mentally, and I chant God's name or Swami Bhajans. Thank you.
Sairam, my name is Advay, and in my SHA class, we have been working on the 5 human values, which are truth, right conduct, peace, nonviolence, and love. And I have been focusing on truth by being truthful to everyone.
Sairam.
My name is Sai Smaran. I'm a student in the SSC class, and right now we've been working on the 5 human values, which are truth, right conduct, peace, nonviolence, and love. So I've been focusing on peace through music, and one instrument that I've been playing is the Carnatic violin, and I practice a few times every week. And recently I went to a program in Wisconsin called the Tyagaraja Aradhana, and I've played 2 songs, which are Dina Janavana and Radha Raghuvira. Thank you, everyone. Sairam.
Sairam, I'm Ishaz, and I'm in SEC class, and I've been learning about 5 human contacts. The first one is truth, the second one is right action, the third one is peace, and the fourth one is nonviolence, and the 5th one is love. And in this class, I've been learning to see everybody as God and be kind to everybody and not be disrespectful and treat everybody the same way. And yeah.
Very good. Thank you, Ishan. Sairam.
Sure.
Sairam, my name is Nasya. I'm in SSC class. We have been learning about the 5 human values that are peace, right conduct, nonviolence, truth, and love. I've been working on the life application of peace. I try not to talk in line in school, and whenever I get angry or sad, I try not to raise my voice or shout. Thank you. Sairam. Hello, my name is Sai Charan. I am in SSC class. I've been learning about all the 5 human values: love, truth, peace, right conduct, and non-violence. As my life application, I've been working on truth and I'm applying it by telling the truth every single time I say something.
Thank you. That was the compilation from the kids talking about the life application that I have been working on. For each of the 5 human values, we have been learning stories, we have been doing some group activities, and also how to apply that in our day-to-day lives with some experiments. Oh, sorry about that. Let's go to the next slide. For love, we did an activity by drawing a tree where the trunk and the root represent Swami himself, and the leaves of the tree represents us, where Swami is the one that holds this tree together, and applying the life application that we should see God in everyone. Those are the drawings from all the children. So some of them drew this as a friendship tree and drew all their friends, and they wanted to see Swami in all of them. For non-violence, we actually did a science experiment. We took 2 cups of rice and covered it with water, and we said good things to 1 cup and bad things to another for almost a week. At the end of the week, we examined the 2 cups, and to our surprise, the one that was marked good smelled good, and it was almost the same as the week before. The one that was marked bad kind of smelled really bad, and the rice was starting to go really bad as well. So we were understanding that our words are even powerful, even to the non-living thing like rice, and how the words are so powerful when it comes out of the mouth to the one that is in front of us. We understood that the one that is in front of us is also Swami, and how our words should be very loving and kind. For right conduct, we did a similar activity by drawing at least 5 things that are important for the right conduct application. That is, help ever, hurt never, giving food to the hungry, plant trees, do everything with devotion and dedication, be appreciative of others. Each of the kids drew 5 things that are important for them as the right conduct values. For truth, we actually did another exercise of think. Before we speak anything, we use this activity to remind ourselves that, is it truthful? Is it helpful? Is it inspiring? Is it necessary? Is it kind? With this activity, we learned that anything that we say with love is always truthful. As a fun activity for Ganesh Chaturthi, we all made Play-Doh Ganesha, and here is a compilation of that. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. So for today's Swami's birthday, we are taking all the activities that we did together. Along with love, we are making a virtual cake and offering to Swami. Pranam to Swami. Thank you for listening to the SSSC presentation from the kids. Thank you, Sairam. Back to you, Karthik.
Sairam, thank you so much, Satya, for this wonderful presentation of all the SSSE students. Our Kansas Sci Center is blessed to have with us Dr. Niranjan Penupatruni, Dr. Suresh Mislankar, and Brother Ramesh Srinivasan on the auspicious occasion of Swami's 96th birthday. First, we'll be having Dr. Niranjan Penupatruni share his experiences. Dr. Niranjan Penupatruni's important activities are being involved for many years with the Sci Center activities in the New Jersey area and promoting Swami's message. He also served as a trustee for the Sri Venkateshwara Temple in Bridgewater, New Jersey for 12 years. He is also an ardent devotee of Lord Venkateshwara. He started Sai Krupa International in USA to promote Swami's life story in the form of teleserials made by his mother. With the help of Mr. Kutumbalanka, they were able to make several copies in Italian, Telugu, Hindi, Tamil, and English. All that money was given to the Sri Satya Sai Central Trust Prashanthi Nilayam. His parents are South Indian actress late Srimati Anjali Devi and Telugu music director late Sri Adi Narayana Rao Garu, who are originally from Kakinada, Andhra Pradesh. They migrated to Madras in 1948. His elder brother, Chinnarao, did his schooling in Madras. And in 1948, his elder brother Chinnarao did his schooling in Madras and graduated from Gondi Engineering College. In 1967, they moved to the US as a student and settled in the USA. He graduated from John Hopkins as a computer engineer, and he also studied in Chennai for high school and college. And when it comes to Dr. Niranjan, he graduated from Kasturba Medical College in Manipal in the year 1974. He moved to the USA in the year 1978 and went through general surgical training in New York and then moved to New Jersey, where he has been living ever since. His wife, Bharati, is from Chirala, Andhra Pradesh. She graduated from Andhra Medical College, and she did her training in pathology and general medicine in New York. They have 3 children, two girls and 1 boy. His 2 daughters are married and they have children. So they have 2 granddaughters and 1 grandson. Now I'd like to virtually hand over the mic to Dr. Niranjan Penupatruni. Sairam, uncle.
Sairam.
Sairam.
Dear brothers and sisters, please excuse me, my throat is a little. So before I Karthik has already introduced us pretty good. So I would like to introduce myself. I'm Niranjan Kumar. I moved to US in the year 1978. And, I was in Chicago, and then I moved to New York for my training, and then back in New Jersey. So ever since I've been living here. And that's our lifestyle here. So I almost retired, semi-retired, but I do go to hospitals, 2 days in a week. So those are my activities right now. So I would like to speak about Baba, my experiences, personal experiences. That includes my parents as well as my family members as well. So I would like to start. I'm going to tell you like a story that happened right from 1961 till I would say until I came to this country. So basically how it started was that my parents were film producers and have produced a lot of movies in Telugu, Tamil, and Hindi. So when they made a Hindi movie, they, really they took a real big loss, and they were really in bad shape financially and emotionally and all that. So they had, my mother, again, she retired, semi-retired from acting, but again, she had to go back into the movie industry and start acting. So the reason why I'm saying all this, because that's how, they went to a shooting, and she met Chittoor V. Nagaya Garu. He was a very popular star in those days, especially in 40s and 50s. So he knew about my parents and all that. Then he said, why don't you come with me? I will take you to Sri Sathya Sai Baba. He might be able to bless you and help you and all that. So that's how it started. That's the beginning. That was way back in 1961, I would say, maybe, early part of 62. So they went and met him, and initially they saw him. So those days, Baba used to come to Chennai every 3 months. He used to spend like 2 weeks, 3 weeks those days. And basically he used to stay in Venkatamoni's house. I don't know if anybody know Venkatamoni Garu. He was a very staunch devotee of Baba. And also at that time, he used to go to Venkatagiri Rajagar house also. He used to spend more time there too. So that's how, my parents met them there, and Baba said, oh, I will come to your house. Why don't you make arrangements? That's how he started. It was very nice. They didn't expect that to happen. So anyway, after a week or so, Baba came to our house, and he saw all the house and everything, because he was wondering what happened to such a nice people, going through all this turmoil with the, financial problems with the movie and all that. So then they went to, then Baba said, now you have to start the same business. That's where you lost. So you have to start it. And that's the only way you're going to come out of it. That's how his advice was. దేంట్లో పోయిందో దాంట్లోనే మీరు మళ్ళీ వెళ్ళి సంపాదించాలి అని he was very forcefully said that. So they didn't know what to do because at that time he was in trouble and they can't even use the Anjali Pictures banner and all that. So that's the time that, they came up with Chinni Brothers. Chinni Brothers means Chinnarao is my brother, and that's one of them, his brother. So that's how they started the movie. So, and then they made Sati Sakkubai, and believe it or not, they didn't have a single penny, but automatically all the distributors and exhibitors all came and invested the money, and that was a successful. So that was the beginning of the second chapter of their lives. So from then on, they went on making movies and all that. So that's how they started. But meantime, 1963, I was still in high school, maybe like ninth grade or something like that. Then my mother asked me, "Oh, we are going to Puttaparthi. You are also coming with us." I said, "I don't want to go," because I was not sure of all these things. I was very playful. I was always playing cricket and all those kind of stuff. But so then anyway, I went with my parents. First time I went to Puttaparthi. That was way back in 63. And then, Puttaparthi was entirely different those days. And all there was, there was only Purnachandra Hall, but there was no hall. It was an open theater and Prasanthi Nilayam. And that's where Baba used to live there, and some houses all around that place. So then I met him and he looked at me and I took his blessings and all that. Manchiti, Bangaru, that's how he blesses you. Then after that, we, we went back to India. Went back to Chennai and all that. So then after a few years later, then I went into college. I started my started in Loyola College. And that was a 65 or 66. And I was went into BSc first year and second year also. Then one day my mother says, "Oh, what are you doing? Why are you doing all this? I wanted to be a doctor." I said, "No, not me. I don't want to be a doctor." But she said, "No, you're going to be a doctor." So then, when Baba came to Chennai again, then one day she told him, "Oh, I wanted him to be a doctor, but he doesn't want to be a doctor." "Oh, Bangaru, doctor avutadu." That's what he was telling my mother. So in 86 or 87, that's the year that one day, Baba was in somebody's house. We went to meet him and all that. So he called Mangalore, Manipal. That time TMA Pai was the chairman, and he was well known all over Karnataka and Tamil Nadu and all that, because a lot of students used to go there and study in Kasturba Medical College. So then he said, okay, he spoke to TMA Pai and told him that he's coming for an interview. So you make sure you take care of him. So that's how it started. Then one day, financially we were not strong. Don't worry, everything will take care of it. So that's how I entered medical school. So in 74, I finished my medical school. Before that, I met Bharati, because my mother went and saw her. He said, "Okay, you are going to get married." That we were engaged in 71. We got married in 75. And then, then we went to Chennai and we started internship and everything. And she also started internship. So that's one side of our story. Then my parents, meantime, they moved from their movie industry from Chennai, Chinni Brothers to Anjali Pictures again, because they were able to bounce back with all the help that they got from Baba. All Baba blessings were there, and they were constantly visiting him every 3 months, 4 months. And that's how they were, Baba was very impressed with their, devotion and love and all that. And then they started their own banner again, Anjali Pictures Combines. Then that's how they started with the Bhakta Tokaram. So ever since they met Baba, they always produce only devotional movies. If you can see all the movies they made, Sati Samati, Sati Sakubai, all those movies, and then Bhakta Tokaram, Mahakavi Kshetraya, and all those. These are the movies they really produced it and went through all those things. Then what happened was when I joined in the medical school, my experience that really with Baba, that was the most astonishing thing. And I was went into a lot of changes in myself. So during the 68, there was a strike in our medical school. So they closed the school, medical school, and so I had to go leave the place. Hostel, we can't stay. So I decided to go to Baba's place, Puttaparthi. I went there. Swamiji welcomed me and said, "Oh, you stay here until the school opens." So I stayed with him. So, and there were other kids also. Basically, it was only in Prasanthi Nilayam most of the time Baba was staying. So my experience at the time was I was with him every day, morning, breakfast, lunch, dinner, until he goes to bed and all that. So during that time, every morning after breakfast, he used to sit and talk about, all about, you have any questions, we used to explain to us and all that. One time he started talking in Marathi, how Shirdi Baba was there and how all these things were my personal experience, I feel. But one day he took like a potlam, you call it a small a piece of paper, and he blew into it, and a nice, very, very tasty bundi, sweet bundi. So he gave it to everybody. It was so delicious that we ate that. And then again, he took another one and he blew, and then all vibhuti came. He gave it to everybody. And then one day we were sitting and talking, and have you seen a printing press? I said, yes. So he showed his palm like this. Can you see my palm? Yeah, I don't know if you could see my palm. So he showed his palm. This is my printing press. So what he did was he just tapped his hand 2 times, and a picture came with like a photo. Photo came with the Shirdi Baba, Satya Sai Baba, and Prem Sai. 3 thing he showed it to. See that? This is how it's going to be. 3 generations will be there. That's how he showed it to me, and he gave it to me. I had it for a long time, so I kept it with me. So these are the things that I experienced with him, and every night we used to, massage his legs and take care. It was my personal experience, and also during my summer vacations, I went with him to Ooty. That's the time that he started, speeches and all that, especially in Tamil Nadu. They don't understand that much of Telugu, but still there was a lot of translators and everything. So they were able to translate and talk about. It was a lot of experience, I gained a lot of knowledge. And so it is, my personal experience was, I cannot describe it, but it is there and it will never go away. So these are the things that happened to me during that days. Then later on, my father was really getting sick because of his lung conditions and all that was really bad. So after 75, they wanted to completely retire from movies. They didn't want to make any movies. Then he started writing about Baba's Divya Kada. He wanted to write story of Baba and how his childhood was and all that. So he finished that book in 2 or 3 years and went and presented to Baba. Baba, so I wrote your story. I want to make a movie. Chusdanle Bangar, Pudadile. Because he knows that my father was not physically well at the time. So then after that, really, my mother used to go to for Puttaparthi whenever he was sick. Ever one time he gave nice one fruit. He was almost, I think he was almost dying, and then she came and gave him the fruit and everything, and he was able to sit and talk to us and all that. So these are the things that we personally experienced throughout our lives. Then what happened was, in 1990, my father was really in bad shape, and we had to admit him and all that. So he passed away in 1991. And then my mother, after like 2, 3, 4 days, we went to see Baba, and Baba said, "Don't worry, everything will be okay now." So since then, she wanted to ask Baba, can we start this movie? We want to do the teleseries or something like that. Then he said, okay, add Shirdi Baba story also, everything. So that's the time they started adding all that complete story. And that's how they made it to Shirdi Sai, Patti Sai, Divya Kada. So that's how they made it in 97. So it was like almost like 15 years later, they started this teleseries. It took them like almost 6 to 8 months, and then they made it into a teleseries, and they showed it was in Telugu. Then they made it in Hindi and English, so that people can understand both in North and South, and also, and then later on was dubbed in Tamil and all that, different languages. So my involvement was after coming to US, and I thought that I should do something about the. So then I started talking to some people here. Then we converted into all the the special the audio cassettes into video cassettes, and everything was made into CDs and DVDs and all that. I still have some of the copies. If you are anybody interested, please let me know. You can send me your address. I can send it to your home address without any problem. So I still have some copies left with me. And then, whatever we raised funds by, I started, it was like a Sai Krupa International. We collected a lot of money on those days, and everything went to Sathya Sai Trust. So this is how I showed my, way of thanking Lord. Baba was with me all the time. Everything, every step, everywhere, whatever I did, it was all due to His blessings. Only I was able to do all these things. What I am today is because of Him, and there's nobody else has done anything to me. Even though I, go to temples, I pray, I do a lot of things. So if you want, I will ask Bharati also to say a few words, what she wants to talk about, or, we used to do bhajans every day. Every Sunday we used to have bhajans and all, but because of the COVID and all that, we stopped from last 2 years, we're not doing. And also a lot of people have gone, little people have moved away because of the age and all that. It was having hard time, but we're going to start again doing the bhajans every Sunday. We do it on a Sunday evening, because that's the time everybody who is, went out or some places, or anywhere, they have to come home on Sunday evening so that they can go to work next day. So that's why we used to do it Sunday evening, like 6 o'clock. Summertime we used to do it 7. Winter we used to do it like 5:36. So that's basically what my experience and personal feelings. There's so many other things that happen. I mean, especially whenever we used to go to Puttaparthi for Shivaratri and all that, we used to experience a lot of miracles also. Vibhuti, Abhishekam, and we used to have seen the Sivalingam. We used to sit in front and watch all those things. It's just personal experience is there, of course. So this basically, this is what it is. If you have any questions, you can ask. and I'm willing to answer you either now or later. It's up to you. Is there anything that I missed or you want me to say? I'll be happy to, answer your questions.
Looks like one uncle has a question. Saidam.
Sairam's brother, it is so wonderful talk. Very, very, because we have read about some of the stories that you mentioned, from some Sai literature and books. And we are very happy to listen to you today and very fortunate to connect with you today. You and your wife being doctors and coming from a Sai family, you have maintained that and you have done your, part of, selling these CDs on Divya Katha and sending it to the trust. Very noble, and we congratulate you. And we want to ask you this question. So how much of this, this devotion and, how do you think that these teleserials definitely have, I'm sure, have helped many of those devotees, right? So
Yes.
do you recall any of those, anybody, coming back to you and talking about it, or anything that, that you remember about those episodes?
Yes, a lot of people did come and ask us, oh, it was a very nice series, because we have televised on the TV Asia also. They asked us. So the TV Asia, the commercials and all that, we told them we have some like totally 12 to 13 episodes. So every week they were doing it, half an hour show. So it was nice of them to sponsor it. And so a lot of people used to call us and, oh, we are very happy. We're fortunate to see Baba's story and we like it. And, one time also the TV Asia people called my mother. They interviewed her and she also, talk about Baba at that time also. It was very nice. And even whenever we go for meetings or Sarva Dharma meeting or even Akhanda Bhajans we used to have, we used to keep the cassettes there, DVDs and all that. So we started distributing them. People are very happy. They used to keep it there. I mean, sometimes the copies are not that good. That's the only complaint, but we used to replace it with the fresh ones and all that. That's how it was. And they all enjoyed it. They always, sometimes they even now today, I was supposed to send it to somebody. I'm going to send it sometime after the Thanksgiving, mail it to some of my close friends who wanted it. So even that's why I said, if you are interested, just send me your address. I'll be happy to mail it to you if you don't have it.
Thank you for sharing, brother. And we will definitely get one copy. We'll send the information.
தமிழ்ல இருக்குங்களா காப்பி உங்கள்கிட்ட?
இருக்கு தமிழ் வேணும்னா நீங்க அட்ரஸ் எல்லாம் போட்டு அனுப்புங்க. எனக்கு
உங்க போன் நம்பர் நான் லட்சுமிட்ட வாங்கிக்கிறேன். வாங்கிட்டு உங்களுக்கு அனுப்புறேன் நான். எனக்கு ஒரே ஒரு கேள்வி, சுவாமி ஏதாவது அடுத்த அவதாரத்தை பத்தி சொல்லிருக்காரா? பிரேமசாயை பத்தி ஏதாவது சொல்லிருக்காரா?
என்னன்னு சொல்லுங்க, திருப்பி சொல்லுங்க.
சுவாமி பிரேமசாய் அவதாரம் அடுத்த அவதாரத்தை பத்தி ஏதாவது சொல்லிருக்காரா உங்களுக்கு?
ஆமா, அந்த டைம்ல இது நான் பிரேமசாய் வரப்பறேன் மாந்தியால.
Please tell in English so that everybody will benefit.
Okay. Yeah. So what he told me was, when he showed this Premasai,
how did he show the hand? You told us. Can you raise a little bit?
Yeah.
So he showed it like that.
He had the like a photo in his hand. Okay.
Oh.
Shirdi Baba on top, in between
Satya Sai Baba.
Then the bottom was the Premasai. Premasai was like a very young looking. He was maybe like 16, 17-year-old person. So what he was saying is, the Premasai is going to be born in Mandya. And he mentioned it to me, saying that he's going to, after his, joins the, after 6 years, he's going to be born. That's what he told me. That's how he ended it. But he didn't, after that, we didn't talk about it.
Oh.
Okay, brother.
So after Swami leaves, after 6 years, he will be born.
After,
after Swami leaves.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
but we do not know whether it talks about 2011 or 2021, right?
I don't know. Probably is there already born somewhere.
Hopefully.
Ama, ama.
Yeah, we would love to hear. Yeah.
Right.
Thank you, brother, for sharing. And we let others to ask questions if there is any. Thank you again, Jai Sai
Thank you
Ram.
so much, brother.
Jai Sai Ram, Sai Ram. Santosham.
Hi, Ram. Does anyone else have any questions? Oh, and Bharti auntie, would you like to speak a few words?
I have my experience, like I have to tell you, I finished my BSc after PUC, BSc like a Bachelor in Sciences, and then I got the proposal from my mother-in-law, was looking for a girl who can come and take care of the family, because my co-sister-in-law was already in USA. So she was missing and she really needed somebody who can stay home and take care of. So she heard through somebody, like my, my brother's side, I think, somebody was telling that the girl finished a BSc. So if you look at then she came to my place, which is Chirala, near to Vijayawada. And she was very happy. And the marriage arrangements, everything was prepared that time. And I was going to marry in like couple of months. And suddenly, and finally, at that time, in MBBS in Andhra Pradesh, they started entrance examination. So I just went and took the examination and I got selected. Then my father said, okay, we postpone the marriage, or if they don't want, well, it's okay, you go ahead and read and we will. And then my mother-in-law was very upset. And then she literally ran to Baba and asked, Swami, what is this? I want somebody to take care of my family. And then she is going to study 5 years. What can we do? Can I go cancel this? And he said, no, let her study. She's doing something good for people, like, MBBS doctor is good. So let her. So that's how the reason I'm telling the big story. I usually don't have, but because of Swami only, I went to medical college. And they waited for 5 years and I got married. And then Baba, I have so much, when we go and Baba tells a lot of things, and sometimes, he's so witty and sometimes make us cry, oh, this Amma, she waits exactly where I stand, like in my home. At 5 o'clock after he comes from hospital, I always wait. And then everything Baba was telling everybody in the interview room, I was stunned, like where I stand and wait for him and open the door. And then Baba says, okay, she stands and open the door. As soon as he comes, she starts fighting with him. And everybody was laughing. I said, how Baba knows everything. And then he always call people like us, Bangaru, which is when he say like that, you feel like, literally crying. So those are like a lot of personal experiences and everything. And thank you, Baba. And then I'm so thankful because of Baba, I go to that family and then continued believing in Baba and Baba's krupas. That's all I can.
Sai Ram, thank you so much, Bharti auntie. Does anyone else have any other questions?
Sai Ram, this question is for both of you. So as a family, all of you together have been to Swami and attended any personal interviews, like your mother, mother-in-law, like you all, like your family. So is it like a group interview or one-on-one?
Sometimes we go in group meaning, my father, my mother, and my brother was there, if it is there. And of course, both my sister-in-law and Bharati, we always go to family. And then of course, after some time, he will talk and everything. Then he will personally interview couple, any questions, anything happening in the family, your personal problems or something. That's how, we used to have that kind of interview and all that. But that, until 2010, he was very good. The only experience that I really want to forget to mention it to you, but anyway, the year 2010, December, I went to Baba's place that time. Somehow I was there and Baba was coming evening bhajans and everything. And some days he was not coming. I was there for like almost 1 week, but we were sitting in Kulwant Hall and all that. But somehow that was the last time I saw him. So he was sitting in the chair and then he said a few words. And then first time I saw him put the namaskar like that. That was the last time I was really surprised. That was, gave me real shock waves in my body. Wow, why Swami is putting his arms and both hands together like that. So that was the last time I saw him. And after that, of course, you know what happened after that. That was like beginning of 2011. So, that experience, I can't forget it, but I just don't want to mention it. But, that was the last time that I saw him. And a lot of people didn't see him after that in person or any meetings or anything. So that was my last experience that I still remember, my final experience that I would never forget. So I just want to mention it to you. I was very close, sitting right in front of the Kulwant Hall, that where stairs are there. That's how it was. All right.
Thank you, Niranjan uncle. Any last minute questions? If not, on behalf of the Kansas Eye Center, we'd like to thank you from the bottom of our hearts for sharing such divine glimpses of Swami's divinity. Next, we'll be having Dr. Suresh Mislankar's experience sharing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Saidam. Thank you so much. God's to both of you. So we are looking forward to hear from you more in the near future. Saidam. So now we are having our guest speaker, Dr. Suresh Mislankar. He completed BSc in India and he joined Baba Atomic Research Center. He came to USA in 1976 to the University of Akron, Ohio, for MS in organic chemistry. He joined the University of Michigan, UMich, Ann Arbor in 1978 and received his PhD. In 1983, after postdoctoral work in nuclear medicine in the medical school at the University of Michigan, he joined Monsanto Agricultural Company as a senior chemist. In December 1993, he moved to Bayer Corp Science and is currently a principal scientist. So he used to live in Kansas and is one of our ardent Sai devotees, and he used to sing very well and he plays harmonium very well and he's so devoted and committed. So we didn't get a chance to hear from you when he is here. We used to listen, but not as a guest speaker. now I think we got that opportunity finally. So through Zoom, I think he said he can create some time for us. So I would also like to add that he has been an active member of our Cancer Science Center for I think for over a decade, right? And he's an amazing harmonium player. So I just mentioned it. Now I would like to virtually hand over the mic to Dr. Suresh Mislankar.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Thanks for inviting me. I mean, talking about Swami is always my problem is the time. So I will make sure I will keep in time of half an hour so that everybody can speak. I will start. I come from a very large family. I had 7 brothers and 2 sisters. So totally 10 children. And my father had a very flourishing jewelry business. And we had a big house. And there was a separate puja room and things like that. And in our house, my mother will not serve the dinner unless we do bhajans and aarti. Every day, it didn't matter whether a final exam or anything, you have to do at least sing one bhajan and do the aarti and then only do it. And within a few years, my father's jewelry business completely went down. I mean, it completely means it was tragedy after one after another thing. And then IRS came and he had not paid the taxes properly based on his income. And they took whatever we had. And it was a large family and we did not know anything about the business and we just survived. My mother had a lot of jewelry. We just survived by selling his jewelry one by one, one by one, one by one. And when he was rich, when my father was rich in South India, we have what is called Ishta Devata. Everybody has a Devata. He had built a temple of Masa temple, and that priest has gone to Puttaparthi in 1963. And my parents were followers of Shirdi Sai Baba. In our home, I remember it's a central one, there was a picture of Shirdi, but I did not know who he was because as a matter of fact, I found out more about Shirdi after I came to Satya. So that I thought he was just like any other saints and things like that. And then 63, this priest had gone, and since he knew my father is a Shirdi Sai Baba follower, he came to talk about him. And he said, oh, this Shirdi Sai has reincarnated as Satya and all this thing. And my father immediately accepted it, which was really amazing if I look back. And he also said, yeah, in Sai Sat Charitra, it is said that he will be born after 8 years. And I was 8 years old at that time, and me and my brother were talking. And one of the things that really caught my attention that this priest was telling to my father that he just waves his hand, he gives vibhuti, he waves his hand, he gives ring, and he waves his hand, he gives money. And as soon as I heard that word money, and I talked to my elder brother who is in Wisconsin, I said, why don't you go to this guy? You know, why should you live in poverty? He will just do like this and give us the money. And that was the only thing I remember. And then we had not seen his picture or the thing. After about a year, where there was a village fair and we got his picture and he looked, you know, by totally different from his hairstyle and all his nicely ironed gown and things like that, because we were thinking he was like a Shirdi wearing some old clothes and things like that. I saw his picture, even the calendar came, it did not go to the puja room. It just stayed outside decorating the wall. And after about few months, my youngest brother, who is in Canada, he somehow slipped a small picture of Swami into the puja room. And that's the way Swami entered the puja room. And then in 1968, I remember this date very clearly, October 26th. Okay. And one of the things, these bhajans, we are from the Konkan side. These bhajans are called abhangas. These are Marathi bhajans. Extremely difficult to sing unless you are a classical singer or things like that. And I never enjoyed singing the bhajans, but we had no choice because my mother will not serve the dinner. So we used to sing somehow or other and finish the job. And on 26th of October 1968, those days Swami was traveling and he had come to our place, the city called Karwar. And I remember each and every moment of that day, even after so many years. And as soon as we saw him, he used to eat pan those days, and his lips were crimson red, and his hairstyle and his eyes and other thing. And then he came where I was sitting, and he materialized Vibhuti. I did not get it. My neighbors got it. I was just looking at him. And then he went on a stage, and there was a chair left for him, but he did not sit. He was just lost in his own world, writing something, saying something. And he started his discourse in Kannada, which very fluently he spoke. And the talk was Radha's love towards Krishna. And within 5 minutes, he started singing this bhajan, Chitta Chora Yashoda, Chitta Chora Yashoda, and I was mesmerized by his voice. And though in later days, all he will do is he will give a discourse and he will sing one bhajan like Prema Mudita Manase or Hari Bhajan Bina. Those days he will 5 minutes, one bhajan, another 5 minutes, another bhajan. He sang so many bhajans and I got hooked on his bhajans. And since that day, my mother never has to tell me to sing bhajans. I really loved singing it. And in our village, there was a Shiva temple. I just want to make sure the timing. Okay. Shiva temple. And we started doing singing in the temple also. Then after finishing my high school, I came to Belgium. And when I was 17, I lost my father. My father never gained after the loss in his business. And then one of my friends said, write, why don't you write Om Sri Sai Ram? And I started writing then, and even till today, I'm writing it. And then I finished my BS. And since I was the top student, I got all the scholarship and other thing. And I went to Dharwad, place called Dharwad, to do masters. And there my elder brother, he had just finished his masters and he was doing PhD. So after I went to Dharwad, I was not interested in that master's program at all. The professor just used to come and read it, and I was looking to get out. Then in December of that year, there was an advertisement from Bhabha Atomic Research Center, and it was a really selection from all over the India, very cutthroat. And one thing they were telling that they will give you the traveling money if they call you for interview. And so I applied and I got the interview. And in the evening when I was at Bombay, there is a Gateway of India and they were selling the Bel Puri, on those cycle type of thing. And there was a picture of Swami holding a garland in front of a Krishna statue. That statue is no more, it used to be in the Bangalore. And I asked him, what is that? And he said, it's a book by Howard Murphy, a man of miracle. Till today, no one believes me that how I got that book from the Bel Puri guy. It's written by foreign authors and international edition. But that's where I got that book. I paid 5 rupees and came back. And when I came back, my brother asked me, what did you bring from Bombay? And all I had was that book. I didn't bring anything. And he started reading and he was totally confused. And he was telling me, oh, this man is claiming he's a god and all these things. And we have so many corruption in the country and all those things. And I said, I don't know anything about him, but he didn't stop there. He just packed his bag and he went to Puttaparthi in February during the Shivratri. No one in the family knew. And by the time he stayed there for about 20 days, and by the time he came back, he was completely changed man. He said, everything written in that book is correct. And then in 74 September, he got a scholarship and he came to United States. And I got a job in Bhabha Atomic Research Center. And I started working there and I was active in the Bhajan Center and all those things. And then in April of 1975, my brother sent me some pictures of him with a snow coat and with a snow and other thing. And when I saw it, I said, I really said I made a mistake. I should have done MS. There is no way now I can go to United States because I had just the base. And one thing, I was spiritual from the beginning, and I used to get up every day around 4:30 for meditation. And next day when I was doing meditation, what happens is when you get up early, sometimes you doze because you're so sleepy. So I must have slept maybe 10-15 seconds. And Swami came and said, why you are worried? You want to go to States, you are going. And that's it. And then I opened the eyes. It's not a dream because I was sitting and meditating. So I didn't give much attention because I was thinking about it. I thought it's a residual memory came back to me. And when I went to the work at Bhaba, there was a guy called Shetty. He was from Mangalore. And he had a center in his place. I said, this is what happened. And then he immediately said, oh, so Swami said, you are going to States, you are going to States, you are going to States. I said, there is no way on earth. All I have is a BS from India. And I cannot go unless I get full scholarship. And no, then he said, no, Baba said, this one you are going. And I just kept quiet. And after about 8 days, I got a admission form from the University of Akron, Ohio. I did not apply for it. So I was wondering what happened, but my brother was there. So I thought something happened. So what happened here, the department chairman called my brother. My brother's name is Dattatreya. No Americans can pronounce it. They used to call him Data. He said, Data, don't you feel homesickness? And he said, yeah, I do. Then he said, why don't you call some of your friends? Then he said, my younger brother is there. He's pretty smart like me. So, and then he wrote me detail later, but he also said, nobody has got a scholarship on Indian BSc. So do not leave your job and things like that, because he knew we cannot come without scholarship. So do not leave your job, but give this exam and other things. So I just gave an exam and filled the application form, and I didn't give much importance. Then on August 21st, I remember this date, it was an Ekadashi day, and Ekadashi, we used to go to Ramakrishna Mission to sing these 108 names of Rama in unison. It was just beautiful. So I had gone there in the previous day. Next day, when I was doing meditation again at 4:30, I probably slept for about 5 seconds. Swami came and he gave me a white roll with a blue color with double note, very distinct blue color. And he didn't say a single word. And that was all about the dream. And then when I went to work at Bhaba, during lunch, I immediately realized this is what I found. So I talked to my supervisor that I want to go home. And he was asking me why, and I didn't want to tell him. And when I came home, I had full scholarship, I-94 and everything. And I got it on August 22nd, and they wanted me to come to United States on September 1st week. I didn't have even passport. And those days getting passport was very difficult. I was born in Karnataka and staying in Mumbai, you have to have domicile certificate and other thing. And I wrote to the university that I cannot come in the fall, on September, and I still have that letter. He said, I always discourage foreign students to come in the winter session, but in your case, I'm going to make an exception. And so somehow somebody helped me. One of my friends' father helped me to get a passport in Bombay. And then I went to 50th birthday because I just wanted to see come for the 50th birthday. And Putpati, I got his blessing and landed in JFK on December 13th, 1975. And then I did my run. And once those days, there was nothing there and it was not internet or anything. Then after finishing master's, I went to University of Michigan, Ann Arbor to do my PhD. And every Friday, our group used to go to what is called happy hours. You know, you sit down and drink beer. And I used to go just to give the company, but I never enjoyed it and my body doesn't tolerate the alcohol. So two things. And one day when I came, you know, I was so upset, you know, my God, there is nothing there, you know, I mean, um, even temples and everything was rare at that time. And I had a dream in which there was a saint and I touched his feet. And that's all the dream was. The next day when I was going with the student union, there was an American girl wearing a home locket. And I told my brother, I told my friend, I said, hey, this girl is wearing a home locket. I'm going to go and, you know, introduce himself. He said, what's wrong with you? I'm not. I said, no, I have a feeling. So I went and introduced it. And I said, you have an excellent locket. And she was really excited. And I told her, asked her, where did you find it? And she said, I go to Baba's center. The moment I heard Baba center, I was so excited. But Baba is a very common word, you know, in India, Baba means father, or any Swami has been referred Baba. The moment she said Baba, I thought it is Swami center. Then she gave the address and it was a Muktanand Swami's place. There was a head lady from Australia, but I said anything is better. They used to recite things, Om Namah Shivaya and other thing. And I told him, there was one Muslim guy from India. They were all staying in that kind of community one. I said, I am Sathya Sai Baba's devotee. Is there any place? He said, no, there is no place here. But he said there is a restaurant called Seva, which was a purely vegetarian restaurant. And you may inquire there. And when I went there, they had a small book shelf. And that is, I bought a book from there called Holy Men and Psychiatrists by Samuel Sandweiss. And one thing in that book at the last page, there was the address of Tustin Book Center. So I immediately wrote to the Tustin Book Center to find out, are there any centers in Michigan? And I still have the letter. There was a guy, Dwayne Robinson, who wrote to me that there is one center just started. And I tell you how that center started. There was a guy called Swaminathan Kannan. He had come from Buffalo. And one birthday, he was so miserable because there was no center. So he just started a center. He was living in an apartment, he and his wife. He had no idea. He just registered it. And then I joined. So it was in the apartment. So Kannan will sing one bhajan, Saraswati sing another bhajan, and I will sing for next 30-35 minutes. And that's the way the Ann Arbor Center started. And then another family came called Mahindra and Manorama Singh. And people started slowly coming. And these are the people who have never heard of Swami. They used to go to some temple or some Hare Krishna thing, other thing. And they were just so impressed by the discipline and the timing and the bhajans. I remember there was one day I was singing this Chittachora. There was a Dr. Satish Goswami. He said, where did you learn this bhajan? I said, it's from Swami. And he was a great ghazal singer. So the center blossomed like anything. I mean, people used to come from, what do you call them? Even from Windsor, Toronto, just to listen to the bhajans. And I was now pretty much involved in the Midwest retreat with Rambala and all those things. And then in 79, one of my friends said his cousin is coming. Could he be your roommate? And his name was Avanindra Bhatt. And when he came, I had the Swami's picture. And yes, as soon as he saw Swami's picture, he started crying because he happens to be a Dr. V.K. Gokak's grandson from his daughter's side. That's why his name was Bhatt. And then he had a tabla, he had bought tabla. So both of us will go to bhajans every day and he will tell me all kinds of stories and everything about Swami. And in 1980, I was going to India to see Swami. And Gokak had a, this is Dr. V.K. Gokak. Gokak had a diabetes and he used to take insulin. And in those days, even the disposable syringe were not that freely available in India. So his grandson gave me a box of insulin, these syringes, so that I can take to Gokak, because he knew I will be going to Bangalore. So as soon as I went to Bangalore, I called Gokak. It's about around 8 o'clock. I said, Dr. Gokak, this is Suresh. I had come from the United States. He picked up the phone and immediately he said, I'm busy, and he kept it down. And I was really, really upset. I said, my God, I bought to him from all the way from United States, and he doesn't even 10 seconds to talk about, you want to say hello. And then I didn't have his address. So I said, how in the world I'm going to, if I had his address, I would have gone to the post office, put a stamp, and that would have been the end of the story. But I didn't have his address. So after the lunch, I called him around 12 o'clock, and he was really, really nice. I mean, he said, oh my God, I heard so much thing about you. My wife, Sharda Gokak, she wants to listen to your bhajans. She has got so many things and other thing. And he gave me that exactly how to come there. When I went there, he was waiting outside. And as soon as I went in, to inside his bungalow, he said, Baba has asked me to bring you to him to, I mean, Baba has asked Dr. Gokak to bring me to him tomorrow. And I was really stunned because my first thing was, when Avatar takes human life, we get so delusioned. I was about to ask him, how did he know that I am here? And before I opened my mouth, he said, when you called, they were discussing about, those days it's called education in human values. And they were discussing all the syllabus of the program for the next year. And then since he was in, I mean, how can he talk with somebody when Avatar is sitting in front of him? But as soon as he put down the phone, Swami asked him, whose phone is that? And he said, this boy has come from United States, he's pretty much, all in center of the thing. Then he said, Swami said, I'm giving a talk to student and bring him. So I went and I was sitting with Gokak and Kasturis and other thing. And I think with the time, I will just finish in about 5 minutes. He gave a talk, and after the talk, I went with Swami to the chemistry lab. He was like a kid asking all the questions about where the gas comes and all those things. And then after the talk, and one more thing, during when I was doing PhD, I had all the time migraine headache. And I used to take Tylenol, extra Tylenol all the time. So that bottle will be always with me. So after the discourse, I had a terrible headache and I wanted to take a couple of Tylenol. So I went to the this hostel warden, C. Srinivasan. His mother used to be, Rajeshwari Rao used to be head of the old Whitefield Hospital. I said, Srinivas, I have a terrible headache, and unless I take a couple of extra Tylenol, I will have a hard time to, go further. So then at that time, my cousin brother was a student at Swami's college. So he called my cousin to get me some water, and he bought water. It's in a steel lota, I still remember. It was not even full. What happens is when Swami comes to Vrindavan, there are about 300 people, a student. One day, one student will be in charge of giving him lunch, one giving him dinner and things like that. And so he bought the water, and I took 2 Tylenol and I drank the water, and I had never drank the water like that in my life. And I immediately asked him, where did you get this water? Because it had a smell of vibhuti, and it has totally different taste. I cannot explain it. And then he said to me, oh, he was in charge of food to Swami, and whatever water left, I brought it to you. And at that time, I did not give much attention to it at all. I just thought it was something like a coincidence, other thing. And after about 6 months, I had full bottle of Tylenol. I had not taken the Tylenol. And till today, I have no idea what in the world he did it with that water. I don't get headache. I got all kinds of other pain, but I never got a headache. But I think for the sake of the time, I will probably stop here because if I have to talk about Swami, I will be talking for the rest of the night.
Sairam Suresh uncle.
Yeah.
So we're so glad to hear from you. I guess, does anyone have any questions? I guess we have time for 1 or 2 questions.
Sairam, brother.
Sairam.
We have, we lived in
Ann Arbor,
Michigan. We have our home over there.
And we heard about the Ann Arbor Science Center. We were part of the center.
Yeah.
we joined only in 2001.
Yeah. By the time I left in I left in 87. Another thing. Yeah. Yeah.
I see. I see.
Yeah.
Very
So
happy.
do you know Berry uncle and Adarsh aunty?
Yeah. Because after it left from the Mahendra Singh house, it went to Berry uncle. First, it was in Kannan's house. Actually, it was in Kannan's apartment. 3 of us started, and then we went to. Then Kannan bought a house, and we used to meet in basement, and then it went to Mahendra Singh's, and then
I see. And where is brother Kannan? These days, any idea?
He is no more.
Okay.
Oh,
He
Sairam.
went to Houston. Yes, Saraswati is there. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, in Houston, Saraswati?
Saraswati is in Fort Well, Indiana. She stays with her second daughter.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Fort Well, Indiana. Yeah.
And do you know even Shailaja Dronam Raju?
No.
No, okay.
No,
So we attended bhajans in Mr. Berry's place. Yeah.
Oh,
we remember.
yeah, I wasn't there at that time. Yeah.
So it was in their place.
Small
and
world.
Yeah, really small world, brother.
Yeah.
But very wonderful experiences, brother. We got goosebumps when you talked
Yeah,
about
well,
the water that we had.
there is one I don't have time. The way he cured my back pain. I mean, that happened in St. Louis, but maybe some other time I'll talk to you because there is other person already been scheduled. Yeah, definitely.
Other time we'll listen to it. Thank you.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
We'll
Really
call
appreciate.
We'll call you separately, brother.
Saira.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, Saira.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Saira.
Yeah.
Sairam Suresh uncle, on behalf of the Kansas Sai Center, we would like to thank you from the bottom of our hearts for sharing such divine glimpses of Swami's divinity.
Thank you, Sairam.
Thank you.
Sairam.
Next, we'll be having Brother Ramesh Srinivasan's experience sharing. Brother Ramesh Srinivasan did his schooling in Satyasai Vidyapeeth, Sri Salem, Kerala. He did his graduation, post-graduation, and MBA from the Sri Satyasai Institute of Higher Learning, Prashanti Nilayam campus. He was a Prashanti Mandir bhajan singer and has composed a few songs. Some of the known ones include Ma Mere Sai Tere Anga Me Kabon and Allah Sai Mola Sai. Currently, he is the head of global banking operations at BNP Paribas, a French multinational bank in India. Now I'd like to virtually hand over the mic to Brother Ramesh Srinivasan. Sairam.
Sairam.
Sairam, everyone. Is my voice audible? Just testing because I'm not wearing a headphone. If you want me to wear one, I'm fine. Otherwise, I'm comfortable this way.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Please continue. We are
It's
able
good?
to do. Yes, of course. Yes, Sairam.
Right. I'll start with a little prayer and then do some sharing. Right. That's how it goes. Yeah. Na guroradhikam tattvam na guroradhikam tapa tatvajnana param nasti tasmai shri gurave mannath Shri Jagannath Madguru Shri Jagat Madatma
Sairam, brother, we're unable to hear you.
Is it on mute? Earlier it was clear.
Let's see, Sairam, can you hear us?
It's on. I think you have to unmute yourself. Is he on mute?
Sairam.
Sairam, are you able to hear us, brother?
We're still unable to hear you. Let's see. I mean, we can like hear your voice very lowly, but
yeah, earlier it was really good. Are you able to hear us?
Yeah, very clear.
Earlier, when you started, it's so clear. I don't know the position, whatever you were before. I think.
Maybe. All right. Let's try this. Is it better now?
Yeah.
Is it okay?
A little more, I mean, closer to the mic, if you can.
All right. Any better?
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Okay. All right. Is it really audible now?
Yeah, it sounds better now.
Ask Eric. Hope everyone can.
Technically marginalized a little bit, so sorry about this. Got all kind of speaker systems here. It's not working, then it's beyond me. Hope it's audible now, and you're able to hear me. I'm speaking right into the speakerphone there.
Yeah, it's better now. Yeah, perfect, brother. Please proceed.
I'll just try the headphones on. Tell me if it is okay. Is it any better now, or?
Yeah, it sounds a lot better.
Yes.
Is it better?
Yeah, it sounds a lot better.
All right, let's start in that case. So pranams for loving salutations to Bhagwan, and thank you for the Cancer Sai Center for giving me an opportunity to spend this morning, auspicious day of Swami's birthday, at least where sun rises in your neck of the woods, right? To remember him for 1 hour. But before I start, I do want to confess that this is the first time I'm doing something like this. So to that extent, right, I'm not a formal speaker in the Sai world, so you got to bear with me if I'm not going to be a fountain of knowledge for you. And look, I've been a student in the past, and at the same time, I've been recipient of Swami's grace, like all of you in this first gathering. Beyond that, I have memories to share. And that's what I'm going to do on Swami's birthday. To start with, 3 things happen when you're at the lotus feet of your Guru. 3 things. 2 out of the 3, Swami has told himself. I remember a Trai session where he made a mention of this one. First thing, at a relatively shallow level, you have life lessons and learning that comes through in those portals. You learn a lot and you take the learning out. This is relatively shallow level. At a much deeper level, Swami says that a seed is already sown. This is what he told us in Trai Vrindavan. You know, you get life lessons, very good, but at a much deeper level, a seed is sown, which is looking to germinate at a point of time that you don't know. This is what was the revelation he has told multiple times, once in Purna Chandra, once in Trai Vrindavan, etc. These are the 2 things that Swami has told. One is Pratyaksha, that is you learn, and other is Parartha, there is a seed that is sown waiting to germinate. Time not known to you is known to only him. The third which is Pratyaksha, which I believe that he provides to all of us, even listening to the sharing that happened prior to mine, are memories. Swami once told us in a small gathering that memory is not just a bundle of things that you have. It doesn't sit with you just like that. Memory is a commitment and a responsibility. And it is a search and a retrieval process. And every time you retrieve, you are actually demonstrating gratitude. This is what he told us. Right? It is, so retrieval of memory is a commitment. And the moment you have memories, like what was shared just before, the very act of retrieval is gratitude. As per what Swami says, my dad keeps telling me sometime, Swami Mahima Chapu. For me, that's what it means. It's in essence something that is retrievable as a commitment. We keep retrieving it until our faculty exists. And once the faculty is switched off, hopefully a part of that memory remains with you. Sai student for me is what Swami says. It's somebody who tries to learn what Swami has taught and tries to practice it in their life is Swami student. You don't have to fill application to Prashanti Nilayam for being Swami student. It is an aspiration to learn what he says and also try to practice them in real life. So today, what I'm going to do is take this opportunity to spend some time to do that retrieval. I must confess that I have not been witness to earth-moving miracles, but there have been miracles that has been moving me inside, and I've never shared them in the past. I will share some of them with you, which my conscience permits in this forum, right? So already for Okka Chinna Katha, yeah, a bit of experience sharing. A story of a young boy who turned teenager and then went into college from the portals, and now where we never feel disconnected from Prashanti Nilayam. If you ask any Sai students, right, there's one thing that they might tell you, not in this many words, but this is what they're trying to convey, right? A part of them, if not haunting Prashanti Nilayam, is hovering around it, is what they will say. A part of them will hover around that hostel where life actually happened. I don't remember actually living as much after coming out of the portals of the hostel, where it was so much joy, so much bliss. There were pressures, there were tensions. The only tension that we had was, will Swami speak to me? Will I get Pada Namaskar? This was the only tension that prevailed. Imagine having that kind of tension continuously prevailing inside you, nothing else. No other tension, right? It's amazing. A part of you hovers around those canteens inside the hostel. A foodie like me, we really enjoyed food there. Part of you hovers around the wonderful institute which Swami has built for people like me and many like me to get educated. We are ever so grateful to him to get ourselves educated. There's no words to express gratitude for getting us educated. I don't know what I will be without that education. I'm super grateful to Swami for that. A part of you hovers around Prashanti Mandir, where you remember sitting in various locations and you wait for Swami to walk. You try to push your hands up to give a letter, try to do a Pada Namaskar, to try and see if you can catch a glimpse of him looking at you. And when it does happen, it feels like a shock somewhere deep inside. And many of you might have experienced what it feels. So like any other students who benefited from the education coming from the campus, part of me also hovers around that place. And today, I'm going to try and place before you some of those hoverings and try and see if I'm able to give you a picture of what it felt like. And see if, and hope and pray to Bhagwan that in some ways and forms it relates to you. Because look, I have no knowledge to distribute, no massive miracles to share. And I must confess right up front, and I'm sharing for the first time, right? So given all that, bear with my hovering. Sometime I'll hover around time from the past. I'm introduced to Swami because I am born in a Sai family. It is as simple as that. My father and mother were Sai devotees. And as I'm born and I'm brought up, I'm introduced to bhajans and Sai Samiti and things like that. It's normal. Many of your children, I'm hoping, are also beneficiaries of being born in Swami's devotees' families, right? I was one of them. But my first darshan, which I vividly remember, happened when I was 3 years old. I think so, approximately. I'll check with my parents. But that's my memory of my first darshan, and it happened in Whitefield. The memory is vivid with me, even though I'm very small, because of a strange, funny thing that happened. I think I was sitting in my dad's lap, or I was sitting next to him. I don't remember this incident very clearly on what is happening behind me, but what happened in front of me is clear. Swami came walking, darshan, in the old Brindavan, under the Krishna statue, banyan tree. I don't know if some veteran devotees here have seen that, but my memory races back to my age 3, actually. And when Swami came, that was the first time I saw the photo in my house come to life. You know, what can you expect out of a 3-year-old when a photo in your house comes to life? So I remember shouting when Swami came, "Hey Sai Baba, come here." That much for a 3-year-old. Huh? I remember Swami coming very fast with a giggle in his mouth, in his face, and held my ears very tight, waved his hand and materialized a toffee or a candy which was wrapped in a paper, and he gave to me, and that was super day for me because I got a candy. If you want to try giving a 3-year-old candy, you'll know how happy he gets, right? So my head was filled with, when can I go out of the darshan area and pop the candy in my mouth, and that's all it was, unfortunately. So I went. I remember it was a Premier Padmini or Ambassador that we hopped into, or a cab. I don't remember, traveling back to Mumbai. So we had to go to either railway station, some railway station to catch train, I guess. And I remember popping the candy in my mouth and throwing the candy cover out, and mother shouting to the driver to stop. She got down from the car, ran behind on the road to find the candy paper because it came from Swami's hand. So moral of the story.
Excuse me, Brother Suresh. No. Srinivas, could you please keep your mic closer or increase your volume? Because we are missing all the beautiful part that you're talking about. Kindly increase the volume, please. Sorry to interrupt you. Thank you.
No. I'm fine, but volume, okay. Let's see.
Is it better now?
Better now. Perfect. Thank you, Srinivas.
Sorry, this is a technical glitch. I don't know how much of it you heard, but So this was my first experience with Swami. Do you want me to repeat? It's okay, right? You got a gist of it.
You can briefly, I think, definitely you can go through.
Yeah,
like
please repeat.
Okay,
Please
no
repeat.
problem. No
Thank
problem.
you.
My first darshan was in my age 3, is what I said, where I was sitting next to my father or mother, father, I think, with my dad, if I remember very clearly. And the image is vivid to me. Swami came walking in the old Brindavan under the banyan tree, and a 3-year-old saw the photo in the house coming to life for the first time. That's what happened. And I shouted, "Hey, Sai Baba, come here!" And a lot of people around me heard. And that's a 3-year-old, right? So understandable. Swami, I remember very clearly Swami coming very fast towards me with a giggle in his face. He held my ears very hard and he waved his hand and materialized a candy, a chocolate candy, a sugar candy in a green or blue wrapper. And I was very happy because I had a candy. Give a 3-year-old a candy, you would see the experience. So when we went back, either in an ambassador or Premier Padmini, after that first darshan of mine, I was waiting to go out of the darshan area because I wanted to pop the candy in my mouth, obviously. I popped the candy in my mouth in the car and dropped the paper outside. I remember my mom stopping the driver, running back to get the candy paper because it came out of Swami's hand. Right. So I was saying, moral of the story, careful what you give in the hands of a little boy. Right. So that was my first darshan of Bhagwan. After that, years passed in Mumbai, in the city of Mumbai. And the next image or flash that I remember is my brother joining Prashant in joining the Whitefield University. And we used to go for darshan, but I don't remember images of the darshan, but I do remember one discrete conversation that happened, a word or two, that's all, not more than that. There was a thread ceremony that happened. My brother managed to smuggle me inside. I was 7-year-old at that time. He somehow smuggled me inside. I don't know how. I don't remember the T's and I's of it, but I know that I was somewhere sitting near inside the interview room, and a lot of students were sitting because it was a group Samuhika thread ceremony or Punal ceremony. I was an odd boy out because there was all senior students sitting over there who were doing their graduations or PUCs and things like that. And I was a 7-year-old sitting in that spot. Swami looked at me and asked, "Who is this?" My brother quickly got up and he told that Swami, it's my brother, right? They said, "Okay, it's fine." So that's all. And after that, the vesti or the cloth was given to me also, along with everybody else, and our thread ceremony was done together. So that was the next memory of association with Swami I've had. These things might look very, very small, but back now in the future, at my age, I feel blessed to have those images in my mind because it's an opportunity to retrieve at this point of time. Fast forward for some time, I joined in my schooling days in Chennai. I used to be the best at flunking, flunk in all the subjects, consistently flunk, and that used to be the order of the day. And somehow, academics and me, we never chimed, we never resonated, and I struggled with it. And I had my doubts if I would kind of step up anytime. I remember I was in 7th or 8th grade when my parents decided that it's not moving, so we need to put him somewhere. And I was put in Satyasai Vidyapeeth, Sri Shailam. This is a Swami school in Kerala. It is still there. I'm in touch with the alumnus there. So I spent my schooling days in Satyasai Vidyapeeth, Sri Shailam. And my academics turned around after that. It turned around 360, right? I mean, I started topping in my class and all that, and it was wonderful to get the confidence back when I went there. But that's when I was in my 9th grade, I was asked to do Harikatha, or what we call Kada Kalakshabam in Tamil. So in Kerala, right, the Satyasai school performs in front of Swami every Onam. And usually the performances are Kathakali, you know, the dance form in Kerala. It could be a drama. It's never a music performance. But somehow my music teacher asked me to do a Kada Kalakshabam, or a storytelling with music in between in Tamil. Right. So this was a Tamil kind of storytelling. And as you tell story, you also sing. And while I was selected to do this for reasons totally unknown to me, I don't know why my teacher wanted me to do that, because I essentially had a girl's voice then in my throat. And that's when all the students came and told me that you're very lucky, you're going to sing in front of Swami. And that's why the desire and greed to sing in front of Swami increased substantially. So that was the first time I thought that, wow, you know, I'm going to leave a legacy. I'm going to be someone in my family like my brother who will sing in front of Swami. And it made a lot of difference to me. I was looking forward to the Onam celebrations, where in an old red color broken truck, we go from Kerala to Puttaparthi, enjoying ourselves, little children, you know, singing, dancing, going all the way to Prashanti Nilayam, and having a special section for us, you know, Sri Salem boys over there. And then evening, there'll be a program. And I was trained in Kada Kalakshabam. You know, somebody from South came in to train me with the story of the devotee who was called Nandanar. I don't know how many of you are aware of this devotee. He was a Shiva devotee, Nandanar, who is known to have merged with Shiva. A peasant in the house of a landlord whose heart was devoted to Lord Shiva. It was Nandanar. So it was storytelling and singing, and my pride was swelling, and already there was a seed inside me now that I'm going to do it. It means I wanted to sing once in front of Swami, that because everybody told me it's a great opportunity. The hype was up, and the hype was inside me too now, right? So I was looking forward to singing in front of Swami. It was pure Tamil, you know, it was pure Tamil music, pure Tamil story. Some of the words went like this, if you want to have a count of it.
Please. Thank you, ma.
Adiyan பித்தம் தெளிய மருந்தொன்றிருக்குது பேரின்பமன்றுள்ளே, மற்ற மருந்துகள் தின்றாலும் உள்ளுக்குள் வல்லே வல்லே ஐயே. This is olden Tamil. This is a very old form of Tamil, right? It's basically the peasant Nandanar asking his landlord, I want to go to Chidambaram, right? And he would always be in the thought of going to Chidambaram. He has no means to do that. And his landlord telling, Pittam pidittullada Nanda, have you gone mad? Right? And Nandanar replying, telling that my madness will go if you give me a chance to go to Chidambaram. So this is what Nandanar is telling, right? பாம்பும் புலியுமாய் பாடுபட்டு தேடி பார்த்து பயிரிட்டது பாரடைந்த திருமாயனும் தேவனும் பார்த்து ரசித்ததுண்டு. அடியன் பித்தம் தெளிய மருந்தொன்றிருக்குது பேரின்பமன்றுள்ளே ஐயே. It says that that is a place where even snakes and tigers go and see, and all the gods go to see the Lord. I want to go and see the Lord in Chidambaram, and that's what will get my madness out. And for us, Chidambaram was Prashanti Nilayam, and a 1 hour presentation in front of Swami was something that I was looking forward to. It was the whole story of Nandanar, and singing many Namavalis, which was related to then Shaivite movement in front. And I was so looking forward to it, right? But it didn't transpire that I could sing in front of Swami physically. On that year, I remember Swami's hip bone got fractured, and he was in great pain in that Onam occasion. I remember being outside in the crowd waiting for my chance to come out in Purnachandra Auditorium, and Swami was giving a speech on how much pain he was going through. I don't remember the exact word, but he said that it is like putting a mountain on top of a finger, that much pain he was going through. But still, he wants to kind of reach out to the devotees from Kerala who have come so lovingly. And hence, he is speaking to all of them. And after the speech, I remember Swami sat in his car and went to Bangalore. He went to Whitefield because he had to be treated for the fracture. Now, that's all right. And then our program started, and all our programs happened with Swami's throne empty, and all my swollen pride was broken that day, that I will sing in front of Bhagwan. That didn't happen. So that was the next image that comes to the mind, next retrieval that comes to my mind, where there was a dream sown that I want to sing in front of Bhagwan, and there was one opportunity and it didn't happen, right? So that and then secondary schooling stages happened, and by the time I got to 12th, moving to Prashanti Nilayam or moving to B, and the college was almost considered default for me. There was nothing else that was considered, simply because my parents were long-standing devotees. My brother passed out of that university. Actually, my brother told me, tell them my name, Venkatesh Iyer, and you will get through. I still remember in that interview me telling that my brother studied here, Mr. Venkatesh Iyer. I remember Mr. Nanjundeya's eyebrow going up during that time. But it worked, I got the admission. I wrote a few exam and I got the admission. But what happened was, a month before I went to write that exam, I was in tremendous pressure because it was board exams, 12th grade, CBSE. I did fairly well, but if you were in Tamil Nadu, if you are a forward caste, you would know that there is no quota that has got a space for you. If there is last few seats left, then it is left for a forward caste kind of a thing. There was a scheduled caste, scheduled tribe quota those days. I don't know if it still exists. Maybe it is there. So it was almost impossible to get into a decent engineering college in Chennai. So for me, the worry was on. My mind was that, can I get somewhere here and not go to Puttaparthi? This was my worry in my mind, and I was doing all that I can to make sure that talk to my friends, to make sure that I in my mind, then I don't get into the same trap, go into Prashanti Nilayam, then I live a hostel life again, because I already lived a hostel life in the schooling days in Kerala. And trust me, it was tough over there. It was not for youngsters, because you're open to showers and sun in Sri Salem. And images of those days came back, and I didn't want to go to Puttaparthi. That was my state of mind at that point of time. I slept one night, and that was the first time I had Swami's dream. Now, this dream was strange, because everything in the dream, the images was clear. Swami was sitting in the seat. I was sitting near him in the front. Around me were a lot of foreign devotees. I distinctly remember the person with French beard there. Behind me was my dad. I was crying and he was laughing. My dad was smiling and he was laughing. And I don't remember a single word of what was spoken in that in that dream. I just remember images. I don't remember words of the dream. And then that dream stopped and an image of Swami came right in front of me. And these words I remember because the words came up now. He said that do what you want, try what you want to do. You have no choice but to come to Puttaparthi. That's when I woke up, and I remember asking my mom, I don't know if she remembers, to take off the photo of Swami that was there in the bedroom in the apartment we were living. I thought that, you know, it was kind of playing with my subconscious mind. At that point of time, that was it. But fast forward, you know, nothing worked out for me. I went to Prashanti Nilayam. I got the admission there, and the first experience was the summer course of Puttaparthi. Of Whitefield. You know, if you start with summer course, you know, 1 month of Swami's discourses, you take copious notes because there is an exam, and you're scared whether your admission will be there if you don't write the exam well, right? So you take notes. And on that day, summer course topic was, you know, higher mind, lower mind, Atma, you know, everything that bounced off my head was there in the topic on that summer course. It was very tough, but I took notes, I copied notes so that I don't lose the admission that I already have. I remember distinctly Swami getting down the stairs in the canteen because we had lunch with Swami every day during that time. You know, he comes and sits after everyone, all of us are served. We do Brahmarpanam together in front of Swami, and Swami puts a few morsel and he says, start, and we start eating. Right. So while coming down the stairs, I remember for the first time, he suddenly turned around and looked at me. And that's a memory vivid in my mind that he looked at me for the first time. And it was a big deal. So looked at me as though he knew me, and then walked away. It was 1 second, a few seconds. It was an immediate turn and look kind of a thing. And he walked away. Next day, he kind of distributed some purses to us, a black purse to everyone. He told that this is not money purse, it is morality purse. He never gets tired telling this, right, to anyone and everyone. This is not money purse, this is morality purse. Money comes and goes, morality comes and grows, you know, all those things that he keeps telling everyone, you know, repeats that, and he gives us a purse the very next day. And then we go into Prashanti Nilayam, a Puttaparthi hostel. I moved there because I have taken sciences. I did my BSc in chemistry, and then MSc in chemistry, and then MBA. So I kept staying there for a very long time. So in Prashanti Nilayam, there was, when I joined over there, for the first time, I saw the bhajan group from a distance. You know, then the people whom we used to listen with awe and wonder, you know, I had my batchmate, Mr. Ajnish Rai, Santosh Pai, my teacher and my lecturer, S. Kumar sir. We had Ravi Kumar and all those singers. And it was, you know, looking at them, I first kept my dream aside. You know, I said that this is not happening. There was, of course, a new constraint that came up. My voice kind of ranged between a male voice and somewhere in the middle-aged frog's voice, you know, a frog's voice and a male voice combined. That's what came to me after my voice cracked from teenage. It's called voice cracking. And I sounded horrible. I couldn't hear myself as much. You know, when you sing a little high, you feel you're going to crack, kind of a thing. So I had to keep that aside over there. So I was wondering, what avenues do I have to kind of enter into a meaningful music, right? Then I saw this, there was interview happening for band boys, you know, the brass band, Prashanti Nilayam brass band. Oh, they are currently, if you see the brass band of Prashanti Nilayam and the alumnus group that are involved in the brass band, it is top notch, I should say. So we had some of the best instruments access to me. I was given the instrument called baritone. Now, this is a huge trumpet, right? Imagine a big mouth on the face over there. It's a huge bodied thing. It's got 3 artils like a trumpet, and you blow into it. It gives the bass voice, and mostly it produces counters to the original music. So this is what baritone is all about. And I got slowly trained on the basics of baritone. And guess who trained us? None other than the great Maynard Ferguson. I don't know if you have heard the god of jazz in trumpeteering was Maynard Ferguson. He had the record those days of hitting the highest note in the trumpet. When he blows the highest note in the trumpet, his face expands and his face becomes red. And when it hits the high note, it really shrieks to the top and it sounds fantastic. He was Swami's devotee, and he was training us, right? And I was wondering, like, if you go to United States and if you're living an American dream, how many of them get trained by Maynard Ferguson? I doubt it. I doubt even you do it even in Howard, for that matter. But the strange, he's no more right now. But the lessons and learning that came from him is still deep in my heart. The strange things that he said was that when you're playing in a band, you have to be in cohesion. Any off note will come very loud unless you're playing the music together. He said you will go wrong many times. Whenever you go wrong, he'll just stop, and he'll still have a laugh at it. Joke at it, don't get too serious, and try again. And if you fail again, laugh at it, joke at it, go for it. So somebody with so much humor and so much happiness, it's all positivity. And somehow over a period of 6 months time that he stayed there with us, right? Every day 1 hour, he trained our band, and we did complex music pieces like Colonel Bogey and all that, which had very difficult counters. He landed up training us, and he left us there, and he used to come every year, Mr. Maynard Ferguson. Why did I relate to this band? Because I have one more flash of memory to share. There was this, so band boys, what do band boys do? We go forward and Swami comes behind, right? We are like, we keep playing the band, we go, and then wherever we are, we kind of escort Swami, drop him there, and we move forward. We just go away. We don't even see Swami. We don't even get to see him because he comes behind us, right? So it was that Purnahuti time when the homam happens in Prashanti Nilayam. And if you know how Purnachandra auditorium looks, it's an oval auditorium, and the 2 sides of it extends. It's a straight line extension over there. So we played the band and we brought Swami on top of Purnachandra, and then all of us went to the corner, the 2 extensions where we are far, far away from where Swami is. And the homam was happening right in center. Swami went inside, and the middle door of Purnachandra opened as usual after some time, and Swami came out, and he came walking very fast, and suddenly Swami puked. He vomited, right? And immediately a lot of devotees came with cloth, cleaned it up. It looked as though it never happened. He just puked and he just walked off. I was the last person in the band, in the corner there. Improbable, and Swami never walks to that corner. It never happens. So I was the last person carrying the baritone in the band. I remember what was going on in the mind. I was actually calling Swami irresponsible. So I was telling Swami that you have come to middle age now. You have obviously not slept, because we know his schedule living over there. He's worked through the night, he has stayed awake in the night, he's come, he's working on Purnahuti, he's fully engaged in the ceremonies. It's gone to the point that he has puked. Said, why are you coming out? Why don't you go and take rest? Is it not basic biology? Now, these are some of the things that kind of went around in my mind. Standing in the corner of the band in the very end of what happened. Well, it was the gathering in Purnachandra was overwhelming. There were many thousands. It was filled to the brim and outside. Swami takes that little pair of sticks, dips it in the water, and starts sparkling on everybody. He walked to the end of Purnachandra as much as possible. He did the sprinkling, the christening happened. by sprinkling water for everyone. He comes back and he is about to go inside again after materializing something into the homam. I'm not good with the technicalities, so pardon my indulgence there. But suddenly he turns, comes to the band boys for no reason, doesn't look anywhere, comes straight to the last and comes to me. He has never spoken to me. The only experience I have is him looking at me once when I joined. That's about it. He comes straight to me, looks into my eyes, and he tells me, "See, I'm all right. Don't imagine unnecessary things," and walks away. That was the first experience of practical mind reading that I had. The baritone in my hand almost fell. My privacy was significantly disturbed. I was wondering if I can think freely at that point of time. I walked out, and after that, again, the aspiration to sing was always there. Again, after that, 2 years passed where I kept trying to come and get a front seat, try and see if I can get a glimpse of Swami. Can I give a letter? Can I touch his feet? This kept happening. No luck at all. Absolutely no luck. He would look everywhere other than me. But it's a stint when he looks. It's never permanent from what I have known. And he kept moving around. In the third UG, when I was doing my early third UG, he started something different. This is called class-wise interview. Each of our class, we are 20 people, 25 people in the class, we'll get an interview. So every day he told, put a schedule, come one by one, class-wise interview. All classes, what we do, we prepare some engagement, some singing we prepare, right? So everybody, they prepare group singing. We sing in group in front of Bhagwan. We don't get to take a harmonium. We don't get to take keyboard. We take a small toy keyboard, the ones you give to your 4-year-olds and 5-year-olds, a small keyboard. That's what we take along with us inside the interview. I went on class interview. I had 2 desires in Parthi at that point of time. 2 desires. And if you ask any Prashanti Nilayam student, I think if they don't tell you this, they're lying. This could be common, is what I think. One is, will I have a stint or opportunity to get close to Swami where I can have one-on-one personal conversation with him? It's a secret desire that everybody fosters. It's an open secret. And this desire also existed in me. And of course, can I sing in front of Swami? Right from my 8th, 9th grade, when I lost the opportunity to sing in front of Swami, this desire persisted in me that can I sing? And look, I was not a singer. I was very, very sure. The names that I told you were born singers, right? And I was croaking and I had no official training, etc. But these 2 desires remained. So in the group of blind people, anybody who is squint-eyed or one eye becomes the king. In my class, there were no singers, nobody exposed to music other than brother Shivkumar Nagesh, who was my very good friend, but he was in a different section, in a different interview section altogether. He was doing arts and I was doing science over there. So my classmates told me, Ramesh, can you make some song and teach us fast, because tomorrow we have Swami's interview, right? So 7 o'clock in the night, I went to Mr. Sailesh Srivastava sir, my music teacher there, who is a physics lecturer now, asked him for the music room key. There was a double reed harmonium. By then I learned to fiddle with harmonium a little bit, I guess. And I sat for around 40 minutes, and I didn't realize I composed 2 songs for the next day. And after 40 minutes of composing 2 songs, I went out, I called my class and told her, let's practice. It's time to teach the songs to everyone so that everybody sings together in front of Swami. So I made 2 songs then in my third UG. I'll try and recount them for you. At least one of them you might have heard. Brother Ajneesh was kind enough to sing that in his first album. आंगन में मैं कब गाऊं. I think I put my alarm, so maybe I'll take 2 or 3 more minutes to conclude. I don't want to hold the whole gathering. I know it's an hour.
No,
There.
Saira, please proceed, brother, being Baba Swami's birthday. If you have time, we all are ready to listen. We are all attending from homes. No worries.
Not much. I'll try and conclude as much as possible because I don't want to hold behind everyone who is on the
No,
line.
not at all. Yeah, please.
We all are ready to listen.
So this song came because I was wanting to sing in front of Swami, and I sang "Ma mere sai tere aangan mein main kab gaun." But when I taught my friends, I taught them "Aun" because "Gaun" was more a personal desire, and we were trying to make it a group song, right? And since then, "Ma mere sai" became "Tere aangan mein main kab aun," right? माँ मेरे साई तेरे आंगन में मैं कब गाऊं कब से तरसा ये मेरा मन पास तेरे कब आऊं. This was one song that I made in that 40 minutes, I remember, which I trained. And another song that I made was कुछ कुछ तो करूं तेरे लिए साई कुछ तो करूं तेरे लिए साई दिल ये दिल ये कहता है अगर मैं कुछ भी कर ना पाया मन ये रोता है ओ कुछ तो करूं तेरे लिए साई. I made this 2 songs and we sang this song in front of Swami in the interview. That was the first time when Swami kind of did talam along. I sang it along with my brothers in my class, and that was my first opportunity in front of Swami. Like the many opportunities that I have had to sing in group, in bhajans we repeat and we sing in front of Swami. Well, after a bit towards the end of the song, Swami kept looking at me. So this was the second time Swami looked at me in my third UG, kept looking at me, and he said, "Who made this song?" And my friends, they in front, they told Swami, Ramesh. Ramesh made this song. Very good, very good. And some things pursued over there. I wouldn't go into the details. And after that, we were all, the interview was done. It was amazing conversation with Swami. You could imagine how as teenagers we asked very lousy questions. We asked Swami, "Are you a Purna Avataram?" Swami is very passionate about and very loving about our Sikh brothers, Sardarji brothers. He said he thinks very highly of them and how they follow their guru. The Pancha Pritis of Guru Govind Singh and Guru Nanak story, he said. So why Sikhs have a knife and all those 5 things that they have? Why do they have that? Why do they grow long hairs? And we asked Swami a question: if growing long hairs is Vidyut Shakti, then why do sannyasis bald their hair? All kind of questions. You name it, there was question answers happening for 1 hour inside that interview room. All of us asking random questions that's there in our mind. And then we kind of came out of the interview room. I was the last one to go out because I had a little keyboard in my hand, trying to support all my brothers when they were singing. Just when I walked out, Swami told, "Hey boy, kal ka interview may be andar aana. Tomorrow also come." I said, "Swami, tomorrow school interview." I said, "Come, it's okay, come." He said, "Fine." So that was the first time, I guess, Swami spoke to me. The next day, it was class 9th standard interview, and I was BSc third year. I came into this interview. Well, Swami took that opportunity to pull my legs. I remember him using me to kind of joke. All the little children laughed. And the end of the interview, he materialized a ring for me, and he put it in my hand. and he tapped my cheek and he said, "Now you go." And I remember when I made this song, I asked, "Kuch to karoon." So I asked, "Ma mere sai tere aangan mein main kab aaun." The aspiration was that will I have a stint? Will I get close to you? And this was the stint. It was starting of that stint. And from the next day, most of the interviews I was inside that interview room. I was a visiting interviewee inside that interview room, I guess. And with some occasions, so I had to do small tasks like bringing vibhuti packets for him to distribute, sweets to distribute. I was witness to a lot of love story of various foreign devotees who were moved inside over them. One of the things I always wanted to ask Swami was if I can bring my parents for
Sairam, Ramesh brother.
We are unable to hear again. I think it went on mute. Sairam.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now we can hear you again.
I think it's gone to the open speaker.
Yeah.
It's gone to the open. It's kind of fluctuating between my headset and speaker somehow. All right, I'll continue. So, so I wanted to ask. So once I asked Swami if I can. IT is acting up. Huh? My speaker is bouncing between. I can see it bouncing between the.
Yeah, it's clear. If you could keep the mic on, it's more clear. Yeah, you're doing good.
All right, I remember asking Swami if I can bring my parents, and he agreed. And there was an interview. My dad and my mom came in, and we went in for the first interview as a family inside the Swami's cabin. That interview was interesting. We had foreign devotees who came into the interview. And after the and that interview, I was taken to task a little bit by Swami, and why and some things felt familiar. Something felt familiar inside that. My bones were telling me that something is familiar in this interview room, and I was taken to task a little bit because I was in tears. My dad was behind me. He looked surely very happy. I could see him smile and all that. But something told me that something is happening here. And while just before the interview concluded, of course in the interview the pattern is you kind of there is all foreign devotees and everyone. Then Swami takes the family to the inner interview room. He has a talk and then he comes out. It's typical. It's the same pattern for all of them. No different. And just before the interview stopped, he said that, you're helping a lot of people, but not helping parents over there. Very irresponsible as a youngster. But then after that, I came in your dream. And I froze for a moment. He said that you might have forgotten. I don't have anything called forget. This is what Swami told on that day. And the whole dream came to me as a flash. So in my schooling days, I told you I saw a dream. The guy with the French beard was sitting right in front of me, and my father was laughing and I was crying. This happened again, and suddenly the reason why the sound was not there in that dream became clear to me, because this whole experience would have been useless if I had the whole sound in the dream. So this was a lesson to me that if you have a clear dream of Swami, it is not imagery. It is not your mind playing game, for sure. So this is how it worked. I'm thankful to. I'm thankful. There was an occasion when Swami's devotees started flocking more, and I asked Swami for permission to sing bhajans. My voice still immature, and I'm not a singer by nature. I don't have a singing voice per se, but because it was my dream, I kind of asked Swami, can I sing? And he agreed. And I'm still very grateful to Brother Ajnish Rai, who sat several hours with me. I forgot the number of hours. Early morning, 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock, afternoon, after lunch, evening, before bhajans, several hours with me, trying to get me to sing in Mandir. And I was always been thankful to him. I'm very happy that he was my batchmate, and he was someone who kind of sang my first composition in the in his album, and I was very grateful to him for somehow making me sing, because I never thought I could sing with all these guys, and because it doesn't come naturally to me, but I was trained. I was trained by him. Sing-
Sairam, Brother
Again, it
Ramesh,
went.
it happened again.
Sairam.
Sairam, Brother Ramesh.
means
Yeah, now it's better. Yes.
it's bouncing between my open speaker. So what I'll do is I'll take my open speaker off. Hang on for 1 second.
No problem.
Yep. Is it okay now?
Yeah, a lot better.
Perfect. Yeah, it's clear.
Oh, it happened again.
Earlier it was so clear, brother. I think now again.
I know it's hopping between the two lines somehow, and that's why. So once Swami told that to all of us that I'll stop bhajan singing in Prashanti Nilayam if you keep singing only Hindu songs. I'll stop bhajan singing in Prashanti Nilayam if you keep singing Hindu songs. Please sing Allah, sing Yeshu, and all that. Otherwise, I will stop it. And our target was next day, where we had to kind of show a lot of Allah and short of lot of Yesus, because we have devotees from all across the world coming. And if you are only Krishna Rama, it was not good enough for Swami. We were all scared. So I system.
Can you repeat it, please?
I'm just fixing this problem if possible, because
Good. Now, we
somehow
are able.
bounces between the two.
Oh yeah. Okay. Now we are able to hear you, brother.
It happened again, brother.
No, now it's good.
No, I'll need to conclude very quickly. Maybe this is a signal, right? So,
No.
I made the song Allah Sai Mola Sai that night because we had to do a few Sarva Dharma bhajans as per Swami's instruction, and that's when I made that song for the first time. So I hope the mic works this time, right? Not sure if you ever heard this. Allah Sai Mola Sai Sadguru Sai Antaryami. This bhajan we made because Swami gave us an ultimatum that your bhajans will stop if Sarva Dharma doesn't comes in, right? So few of us made a bhajan overnight for the next day, and my dear brother BRC was kind enough to sing that for the first time, because I knew that if I sang and I stuffed it up, it will never be sung again. and I was careful about it. Well, I'm out of the portals of this university right now, and part of me still hovers. You could have seen that. And I'm very grateful to the Samiti and the center that has called me to do this for the first time in my life, because you gave me an opportunity to hover around Prashanti Nilayam, if not haunt that place like most of us do. I look forward to the alumnus gathering in the end of the year, where I go there and physically hover around that place again. Look forward to the Chandra Bhavan Ghee Dosa. Look forward to the Singapore fries that we go to. Look forward to the square pizzas that we used to escape and go and eat. Look forward to the friendly chats with our old friends. Look forward to the radio side. One of the important things that I would like to say before I conclude is we all have gained expertise in what we do over a period of time. One way to show commitment to what has been given to us is to gain expertise in the subject that Swami teaches. And he has left behind the wonderful radio side for us to kind of keep our expertise on and come up the speed on the learning of his teaching. I would ardently request you to make sure you don't lose out on the ambit of information and the depth of information on what Swami has given and what they are giving through Radio Sai these days. Bless them. It's wonderful for them to be there and still reach out to us. This is wishing you all a very happy birthday, because Swami's birthday is ours. And I'm hoping that we all have blessed day, blessed year, and blessed new year ahead. Sai Ram.
Sairam brother, can you please render one bhajan like Sai, Sundara, or whatever you like? Just one full bhajan.
Sai Sundara. Yeah, so mic is on. Sai Sundara Sundara Vyagrambara Hare Hari Hara Sai Sundara Sundara Ananta Gunamandira Sundara Natana Sundara Bhuvana Sundara Sai Sundara Sundara. Saram sister, hope it was okay.
Yes,
very
perfect.
nice. Very
Allah
nice.
Sai, even
Oh,
the composition, what you had, like Allah Sai, like what? Can you please?
I'm just conscious that lot of them are waiting on time, and I'm usually on time. I'm skipping it right now.
Please, being Swami's birthday.
Allah Sai, Mola Sai, Sadguru Sai, Antaryami, Nanak Sai, Prema Sai, Eshu Sai, Karuna Sagar, Sarvadharma Priya, Satya Sai, Sarvadharma Priya, Satya Sai.
Lovely, brother. Lovely.
Okay. Thank you, sister. Thank you very much. I'm sorry I took so much time. My apologies.
Kindly don't say that, because we all are enjoying every bit of it. So please don't say that, because it is like a treasure for us, the way you are explaining each and every detail. We really enjoyed every bit of it, no doubt.
Thank you, sister, and I hope all of us also, we kind of take some time to do the search and go down your own memory lanes, right? Because that's gratitude, and
Yes.
that's the best cake that you can give to Swami, which he could cut, I guess.
Of course.
All right, thank you. Signing off formally, so I can hop on to my office clothes and rush to my office campus. Yeah.
Sure. Sai Ram, brother. Sai
Thank you,
Ram.
Sai Ram.
Thank you so much. We'll try to stay in touch with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sai Ram, sister.
Sai.
Sairam, Brother Ramesh, Srinivasan, on behalf of the Kansas Sai Center, we'd like to thank you from the bottom of our hearts for sharing such divine glimpses of Swami's divinity. Next, we'll be having Swami's birthday song, followed by Harati and Vibhuti prayer.
Sai Ram, brother. Sai Ram once again for creating time. Sai Ram. Thank you.
Sai Ram, thank you.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Sorry. Name is Paul. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. You are the one who loves all. You are the one we love. You are the one who loves all. Srinivasan, Sai Baba, happy Happy birthday, Sai. Happy birthday.
Sairam, now we'll be doing Maha Mrityunjay Mantram 3 times, followed by Harati and Vibhuti prayer.
Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityurmukshiyamamritat. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityurmukshiyamamritat. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityurmukshiyamamritat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Jaya Jagadish Hare Swami Satya Sai Hare Bhakta Jana Samrakshaka Bhakta Jana Samrakshaka Pati Maheshwara. Om Jaya Jagadish Hare Sashivadana Srikara Sarva Pranapate Swami Sarva Pranapate Ashrita Kalpalatika Ashrita Kalpalatika Apadbandava. Om Jaya Jagadish Hare Mata Pita Guru Daivamu Mariam Tayumire Swami Maria तयुमीरे नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथ नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथ नागेन्द्र शयन ओम जय जगदीश हरे ओंकार रूप ओजस्वी वो साई महादेव सत्य साई महादेव मंगल हारति अंदुको मंगल हारतुलंदुको मंदर गिरिधारी ओम जय जगदीश हरे नारायण नारायण ओम सत्यनारायण नारायण नारायण ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्यनारायण नारायण ओम सत्यनारायण नारायण ओम ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा साई नारायण नारायण ओम सत्यनारायण नारायण नारायण ओम नारायण नारायण ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्यनारायण नारायण ओम ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा साई नारायण नारायण ओम सत्यनारायण नारायण नारायण ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्यनारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा ओम शांति 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 समस्त लोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्त लोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्त लोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु ओम शांति शांति शांति
जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की जय परमं पवित्रं बाबा विभूतिं परमं विचित्रं लीला विभूतिं परमार्थ इष्टार्थ मोक्ष प्रदानं बाबा विभूतिं idamashvayami. Sacred, holy, and supreme is Baba's vibhuti, pouring forth in brilliant streams, display of vibhuti. So auspicious is its might, it grants liberation. Baba's vibhuti, its power protects us. Paramam pavitram Baba vibhutim Paramam vichitram Leela vibhutim Paramartha ishtartha moksha pradhanam Baba vibhutim idamashvayami Sai Baba vibhutim idamashvayami Om